2025 was a big year for me in many ways. I started off by doing the Strada Easel challenge in January. So in 1 month, I painted one painting a day from observation, and you can see that I got about the island when it was nice sunny days, and on the other days I try to do interesting still lifes. So you can see my still life painting here and here. Look at the shells, and that's supposed to be a V for victory sign, not a root sign. I painted Heidi's dog, this tricolor heron. It was the opening of Parliament. I got there early, I did a pen and ink sketch, and then after taking pictures at the event, I did these pieces. A watercolor that I improved in Procreate. Second-class citizens, first-class men was by my wife's aunt, Dr. Eva Hudson. I fondly read the book. I did pen and ink drawings of the two main people, W.L. Tucker and Dr. Eustace Ken. I attended a memorial service for Dr. Hudson because she had passed away 5 years ago during the COVID period with restricted gatherings. Dr. Ed Smith retired from Bermuda College, and I caught his final exhibition. I did a few pieces in ink, some with a brush, like this one at Ferry Reach with the Plein Air group, and then I did these other pen and ink studies. These were things at the Bermuda National Museum. I found some old rusty chains with a lock on them. I ended up doing it in watercolor too. Then I went to the Walk to Calvary, and they had some interesting scenes added on this year, so I did a lot of that in pen and ink. Here's one that's ink and wash. That's a painting that I did from that event, and here's another one of two people who had passed away last year and someone else carrying the cross. I went to the peppercorn ceremony and got the accountant general receiving the peppercorn from a lodge member, and then I did an oil painting of the Mayor of St. George's, and here you can see her inspecting the guard. She was with the governor when she did this. There's my wife in her garden in watercolor, and I helped dig some of the places that she wanted to put plants, so I'm doing myself in watercolor. Bill Main Bermuda Stories and Memories was an exhibition that I saw at Masterworks early in the year. I went to a lot of exhibitions at Masterworks, Bermuda Society of Arts, and other places. Roots and Wings was a Bermuda Society of Art member show, and other people having shows then was Carmen DeMarco and Gretchen Conyers. Multiplicity was a big show at Masterworks with work by a lot of well-known artists, and I had 2 paintings of horses and carriages in this exhibition. So here you can see my horses and carriages. Paintings in fabric by Gail Moreira was at Masterworks. Bermuda Society of Arts Permanent Collection, Garden of Light, and a show by Melanio Guzman were all on exhibition together. Here you can see me with Charles Lloyd Tucker's work, with a bust done in his memory. I went to this year's 441 exhibition at Masterworks. Bermuda National Gallery had a Andy Warhol exhibition. The work was from the Green family collection. Here you can see my wife at the show. I saw a show at Paradise Mobile. I think the same people had a show at Rock Island Cafe. Charles Sewell had a show called Portals to Another Dimension at Masterworks. Dr. Charles Sewell is one of Bermuda's more senior artists. Here's another couple of exhibitions at the Bermuda Society of Arts. Close by was one of the last exhibitions that I saw at Masterworks, but I do have other exhibitions to show you later. Otto Trott, whose father is from St. George's, from just up the hill from where I lived, won the marathon. A Trott winning the marathon. I had to paint that. I got some new watercolors, some Michael Harding watercolors. So I did some cricket pictures around cup match time and cricket season. And I also had gotten some pen and ink, some new nibs and different inks. So I did those pieces, and then I did this portrait of myself with a St. George's hat on. I did the September Strada Easel Challenge again, and here you can see some of the pieces. These pieces are one portrait and mostly still life paintings. And this is another group of them. This is mostly landscapes and seascapes, and you can see what I did there. Around that time, Ponciana's were in bloom, so I did those botanical paintings. I started Berkeley in 1965 and left in 1970. So we had a reunion, and here you can see all of my classmates, and we had a wonderful time at an event at the Leopards Club. One of the highlights of this event was Michael Payne playing his saxophone. He was very good and everybody enjoyed it. My wife and I sometimes spent walking with a Kroll Gospel Hole walking group. Here you can see us at different locations. I painted with some new artists at the Bermuda Plein Air Festival in October. Here you can see the opening reception, and these are some pictures from the final exhibition. These are some people that won prizes, and this is my work in the exhibition. I did 6 pieces during the event. Here's another look of them all together. And one of the highlights was when I was in flats painting in this festival, I met the Duchess of Gloucester. She actually came over and wanted to speak to me because she had been shown a painting that I did of her. Here's Janet Percy. She's 90 years old, and my wife and I went to her exhibition. I went to Emma Ingham's exhibition. Lillian Ralston had a photo show. This picture of Steve Conway and his wife at Minister Weeks made the newspaper. I went to Steve's show. Tons of people showed up for Michael Frith's exhibition at the Bermuda National Gallery. And when they had a talk on the show, there were so many people that they had to put it in the Earl Cameron Theater. Here you can see how many people there was. Bermuda's got 2 world-class shows on at the same time. This Janet Fish Place and Time exhibition was some show. I went to it with my wife, and here you can see the show in the background behind my wife. And I met the artist's husband, and I also got the autograph of many people with connections to her. Sadly, Janet Fish died on December the 11th. These are larger oil paintings that I did early in the year. I did most of these between February and July. That's Tucker's Point Cove there. The others were flats. There's another flats one. And another. I think I did about half a dozen flats paintings. That's Devonshire Dock. That's a dock around Ballast Point in St. David's. And then my big highlight was opening up my gallery. I have a new logo, and the Plein Air group gave me a visit before I had actually really opened. And here you can see some of the inside of my gallery. These are some of the paintings on the wall. I have from small oil paintings to these larger ones. And I got some print racks so that I could display unframed watercolors. So there's plenty to see. I think you will enjoy seeing my new gallery, especially when you see this new sign out by the road. So come pay me a visit, and that was my 2025. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next year. Bye.